Good afternoon, friends. Now we are playing ICI Moto song. I request all the participants to put their right hand on their hearts. Friends, I welcome you all in this fifth day. We can say that it's not the last day, but due to our dynamic chairman, we are able to begin this Pathshala. And now I hand over to our chairman of Ahmedabad branch, CA Fadil Shah, to address the webinar.
Thank you, Bishan Bhai. I welcome the two panelists with us, our own CCM, C. Aniket Talati ji, and the finance controller from Gujrera, Shri Ghanshyam ji, and also the secretary, sir, CA Bishan Shah, and all the members attending from Gujarat, various branches of Gujarat, to this last day of panel discussion in this RERA Ki Pathshala. Friends, today I'm not going to take any more any kind of announcement with respect to any future programs, because we need to utilize this last few hours of this RERA Ki Pathshala. And yes, I would like to admit that this today, once this session ends, it is not the end of our learning, but this was the base, and with this base our more you can say learning and introspection of this subject of RERA will start. So let this webinar series be the very foundational base of conceptual clarity, and when it was coming from the mouth of Sri Ghanshyam Bhai, and to end up very well with a panel discussion also having Aniket Bhai, who is not only a Central Council member but has also authored a book on this particular topic of Gujrera, and otherwise you know the versatility and the way he's operating. So I think so no more words to introduce Aniket Bhai, but before I open this session, keep this session open, I just want to bring to notice of everyone that, friends, on this Saturday we are having one panel discussion for us, the chartered accountants. That is, we all might be wondering that which are the investment opportunities post lockdown. Also, we might be wondering, and also our clients might be asking us, as we being the chartered accountant. And in my opinion, there are three areas where we generally pursue to make an investment. One is real estate, one is gold, and the third is the stock market. So we are going to have experts on this three field, and also Aniket Bhai is going to join this particular panel discussion, and this it will be moderated by RJ CA Love Shah from My FM, and this is also powered by My FM. So this is going to be a big event, and specifically it will be our own Gujarati language, so that we can connect to that. And so I welcome you all to participate. Soon the event will be launched, and let us see to it that we all participate in big number and make this event a grand success. With this brief words, I again welcome Aniket Bhai and Ghanshyam Bhai. And now I think so we should start the session further, and we should open the panel discussion.
Yes. So the first question, yes, Chairman sir. What we have thought is, yes, what we have thought is that we are posing some questions to both the experts, and then from audience or participants, if anyone wants to ask a question, they can raise their hands. We will unmute their mic so they can speak, and that is audible to everyone, and we can
Bishan Bhai,
deliver.
just if
Yes.
Yeah, before that, Aniket bhai, you want to address something to audience?
Oh, thank you, Fenil bhai. Actually, I was going to just a couple of things. One, first and foremost, let me begin by expressing my deepest thanks, gratitude, and acknowledgement to Sri Ghanshyam bhai Pathak sir. Sir, we are truly grateful to you for having spared your valuable time, addressed us, and more importantly, cleared the concepts of all these important aspects. Bishan, if you can put on mute, there is a lot of echo coming for others. Yeah. Yes, thank you. So, yeah, what I was saying is I'm so grateful and thankful to Ghanshyam bhai for having come here and explain these concepts, not just from the chartered accountant perspective, but also from understanding what the expectation of the authority is. And sir, I'm not saying this because you are here. Honestly, we have had so many open houses. It may have been with income tax, it may have been with GST, but they are, if I can use the word, highly moderated, where there are certain questions we are not able to ask, or even if we have to ask, they are asked with a sugar pill. Second, never have we come across that the officers have come and shared their such live expectations and the process is understanding in this detail. So we are actually thoroughly grateful and glad that we could have this session. So thank you from the bottom of the heart, from myself, entire managing committee, and all members of Ahmedabad for doing this, sir. It has been extremely useful. I have had the chance to follow these sessions sometimes on and off. Of course, right now what has happened is because of the lockdown. Incidentally, our institute's work has increased manifold because of the web conferences that we have, and therefore I'm not able to devote full time. But sir, my feedback that I have got from all members that they have extremely benefited from this. So my sincere thanks to you. But more importantly, today I would also like to acknowledge, though I don't do it that often, that the role played by Bishan bhai and Fenil bhai, the secretary and the chairman. Of course, chairman is our leader of the branch. We all respect you, and we are laud your commitment towards the branch. No, but truly, I'm telling you, in this time when we all prefer to stay indoors, stay home, it could have been very easy for us or for you also not to have actively done these events, and you could have also enjoyed this so-called vacation that was there. But you thought it fit that no, we want to make the maximum utilization of this time period to increase the knowledge of members and students, and that is highly commendable. I'm not saying it because I'm a part of your managing committee or your dear friends of mine, but I'm really appreciative, Bishan bhai, Fenil bhai, just sitting these 2 to 3 hours and attending these seminars, collating these questions, answering queries, and the lead taken by our chairman in forming these summaries at the end of all sessions and sending them across as a flash with the video content, the PPT, as well as an analysis of the lecture. I think it's a phenomenal task. As chairman, you would have in the initial phases maybe felt that I'm not getting to go to the branch, I'm not getting to do my role as a chairman, but you have far exceeded the expectation. And I think I speak for all members of all of us by just your sincerity of doing these seminars and programs. So my compliments and congratulations to the entire managing committee of Ahmedabad for doing this so phenomenally. And finally, like I said, this RERA, Bishan bhai has mentioned about, and Fenil bhai also mentioned about the book I had the privilege to author. Subsequent to that, even at the branch last year, we came out with a guide which is for the e-filing of these forms. I think the whole concept of real estate from starting till your annual compliances have been covered in the great detail in that form, in the form of a guide. And even the institute at that time had come out with a national publication for RERA. But you can all appreciate, friends, that there are so many states and 20 to 25 of them who have an active RERA. To cover the minute aspects of forms of each of the state at a national level publication would not have been possible. So we gave a overall guidance of what is the understanding of the act, which is a central act, and some common concepts within the forms. But the detailing that has been done by the Ahmedabad branch and in the form of the guide has been excellent. And I'm told that a copy of that has been already circulated to all of you. I'm sure, Fenil bhai, this year going forward, we can update that based on whatever learnings and extensions and other circulars are issued, and we can have another version of that. So with that, once again, I think in the RERA front, our state, especially Ahmedabad, is doing a very good job, and I would like to compliment the entire team of Ahmedabad branch for leading the way. Thank you, and over to you, Bishan bhai.
Sir, thank you so much for your kind words. But for us, you are a motivation, and we definitely follow you. એવું કહેવાય ને સાહેબ કે જેવી રાજા એવી પ્રજા. So we are your followers, and now we pose this question for you. The first question: RERA is an opportunity for all of us. How we contribute in constructing the dreams of innocent home buyers while doing our duties in of RERA. Yes, Aniket bhai.
So I think it's a very good question, the way it is framed. And if you refer to the publication that I had the privilege to write, even other articles that I have written, and even in this book that the branch has published, I was able to write the initial part. And what distinguishes real estate from other industries, that you may be in this process of selling goods or in the process of selling services. Whereas this industry is one where you're actually selling dreams. Because having a house, building your own house or buying your own piece of real estate is actually something that people don't do day in day out. It's one lifetime dream. આપણે કહીએ છીએ ને જિંદગી ભરનું સ્વપ્ન હોય છે અને એ સપનું રિયલ એસ્ટેટ થી પૂરું થતું હોય છે. સો ઘરનું ઘર જે આપણે માનતા હોઈએ છીએ એ રિયલ એસ્ટેટ ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રી આપણને પૂરી કરી આપે છે. And from that opportunity, it is also important to understand the responsibility first before we look at the opportunity. That as chartered accountants, you have all seen, friends, in the past few days, we had Harish Salveji, Arvind Datarji address our conference day before yesterday. 2 days from now, Piyush Goyalji is coming and he's going to be addressing that seminar. So there are phenomenal amount of leaders who are coming. Last month, just before the lockdown, we had Nirmala Sitharamanji, who actually visited our own Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Believe me, the largest industrialist, he may be a net worth of thousands and thousands of crore. If he wants something from the finance ministry, he has to go to North Block. This time, she came to our institute to propagate the Vivad Se Vishwas scheme. That is the importance of our profession. Just check, is there any other statutory body or even function that the finance minister has gone? They generally invite the RBI governor. He flies from Mumbai to Delhi and attends the meeting in North Block. But for us, our profession, she came to the institute's office. Why? Because we command that kind of respect in this society. And that is because our role is not just of that of giving solutions, but also understanding the inbuilt partner in nation building tag that Abdul Kalamji gave our profession. We are not just chartered accountants fulfilling our clients' requirements, but we have been given the attest power function under a statute so that you somewhere exercise the power of the sovereign. And this has been stated by the highest echelons of government, that we exercise powers of the sovereign in terms of when we are saying in a 3CD report that this is allowable and this is not allowable. If that return doesn't come for scrutiny, what you have said is the final assessment that is done. So that is the power. You are given the power of an assessing officer. You are given the power of the authority or the government at so many aspects. And even in RERA, friends, what we have seen is that the authority across states, and I can speak about Gujarat in more detail since I'm from here, that the authority has envisaged this to be a non-intrusive kind of a mechanism, where based on our chartered accountant certificates and the annual certificates or the quarterly returns that the promoter files, there also we have a great role to play in guiding them on how that is to be done, because in day-to-day life, you and me are aware that actual compliance is being taken care by us as chartered accountants. So that when it's filed, the authority only relies on that, and whatever notices they are issuing is based on our information. So therefore, there is huge responsibility cast on us. So I first of all begin by saying that before opportunity, Bishan bhai, what is critical is to understand the responsibility. If there is a person who has saved his entire life's savings of his salary for 20 years and buys a home and then takes a 30-year or 20-year housing loan and decides to repay it, he has taken money from his family, friends, liquidated his savings and put into a project. And tomorrow, if that project is not financially viable, just imagine the amount of pain that that person who has bought the property will have to face. I think if we have that perspective, then we are able to, in a better manner, look at this opportunity. Because once you have the responsibility, then let's go on the opportunity. The opportunity is humongous, because these real estate developers who are developing this, I also believe 99 out of 100 have a very good intention. They are there to make money. Yes, every commerce and business is about making profit, but they are also fulfilling the dreams of a lot of people, and they have that realization. Today, you and me are safe because we are in our houses, and these houses were built by real estate developers. ઘર જ ના હોત તો અત્યારે Lakshman Rekha ni je baat Vada Pradhan kari ke the chief minister is saying that please stay home. That home is thanks to this real estate developer community. So we have to be grateful to them also and not look at them only with the eye of doubt. Once you merge these two, I think that is where we realize the opportunity lies. That this is a community which believes in, yes, that there must be substantial profit, but at the same time, they realize that they have a responsibility to give a good quality constructed real estate to you. And we as chartered accountants can play a great role as a bridge to ensure that the quality of construction, let the engineer or architect look at the planning and approval. There is ORDA, AMC who is approving, but the financial implication and the financial stability, or if I can use the word, if the viability of that project is to be assessed by us, and that is where the biggest role comes in. So if you have clients who is overly aggressive and ambitious, please let's tell them that these are challenging times. That is where the first role comes in terms of consulting at the initial phase and looking at his own capital, looking at what debt he can raise. We can play a part in debt syndication. We can play a part in the capital structuring of the project, whether you should do a LLP, whether you should do a private limited company. Now, because LLP is the norm, we will see that all real estate developers are going after LLP. But after these new tax rates, is it actually viable for LLP, or should we go back to the private limited model? That is going to be question number one. So that is the first opportunity. Incorporation, capital structure. Second, debt structuring, raising of the debt. Third, even debt syndication for the buyers, because they who will come will not have the entire amount to be paid in down payment. So we can set up certain pre-approved schemes with certain big banks or NBFCs who can then finance and fund the project. Then our role comes in terms of the compliances, which we have always been doing: incorporation, registration of TDS, GST, how GST in this changed era, input credit, if it's a mixed complex, what is the rate? If it is a residential, what is the rate? What will be the other impact that it will have for commercial complexes? So GST, income tax is a huge area that we have in practice. And most important now, thanks to Gujrera, the Real Estate Regulation Acts compliance. So we have quarterly compliances, and then you have the annual compliance, plus an overall project monitoring mechanism to make sure that the financial viability of the project stays intact. All of that is in the form of opportunity. So if I had to club what we can do, the responsibility I have shared, the opportunity lies in capital structuring, compliance work, debt syndication, not just for the promoter, but also for the buyers, legal advice, because this has primarily been the domain of lawyers. But now, because of our day-to-day interaction with the authority and knowing what are the queries that they are raising, let's understand, friends, if you go anywhere in the world, I have a huge experience of the US market. No CPA in the country of US will incorporate a company for you. That is done by lawyers. Apna tyan, chartered accountants are incorporating majority companies. Why? Because we have law ingrained in our course, and we try and understand the legal aspects of how a company incorporation happens, what a MOA is, what a AOA is. Similarly, legal compliance of the company in terms of, yes, there may be an advocate who may do the final registration, but the finer points of what must be part of the agreement for sale, that is the Banakhat or the AFS, the sale deed, there is a huge opportunity for consulting. And finally, like I said, in the RERA. So 5-6 areas where in real estate we can give our services. Only thing is that I would like to share with my young participants who are doing into the practice of real estate is that learn to charge fees for all of these services. We are not a wholesaler કે ચાક લીધું ને કોથમીર આ જોડે આપી દઈએ એમ તમે ઓડિટ કરાવશો તો compliance જોડે આપીશ. Please, let's not do it. Please price these services separately. Each of them has to have a distinct engagement letter. And once we are able to convince the client about each of these services having a distinct feature, we can then actually invoice and bill for these services. So, Bishan Bhai, to answer that question, I think I've tried to cover up all the opportunity areas that lie in real estate.
Ghanshyam Bhai, one question from my side to your office, that we are into chartered accountants fraternity. So what are your expectations, Ghanshyam Bhai, from Gujrera side, from our chartered accountants fraternity?
Very good afternoon, friends. Talati Sahib, Bishan Bhai, Fenilji. First of all, I also have to thank the Secretary and President of Ahmedabad branch of ICAI. Along with you, sir, Talati Sahib, CCM, ICAI. I must acknowledge, આપે કહ્યું જ, મને થોડું ગુજરાતી બોલી લેવા દો આજે. આ મુશ્કેલ સમયે સમાજને એના શ્રેષ્ઠીઓ જ સહારો બી આપી શકે અને માર્ગદર્શન બી કરી શકે. તો ચાર્ટર્ડ એકાઉન્ટન્ટ એઝ અ ફ્રેટર્નિટી એ ચોક્કસ આખી ફ્રેટર્નિટી એ સમાજના શ્રેષ્ઠીઓ છો. તમે કેવી રીતે આ સમયનો યોગ્ય ઉપયોગ કરી શકાય એનું દિશાદર્શન બી કરી રહ્યા છો, પોતે એની ઉપર ચાલીને બતાવી રહ્યા છો કે યસ ડેઝ આર ગ્લુમી છે, બધા નકારાત્મકતા બધા પર હાવી છે, પણ કેવી રીતે એમાં સકારાત્મક બની રહેવાય અને કેવી રીતે આપણે વર્તમાનનો ઉપયોગ ભવિષ્યના ઘડતર તરફ કરી શકીએ. તલાટી સાહેબ, તમારી ટીમ જોરદાર છે ગુજરાતની. બિશનભાઈ અને ફેનિલજીને હાર્ટીએસ્ટ કોંગ્રેચ્યુલેશન. I must acknowledge I am a reluctant speaker. તમને એવું લાગતું હશે કે 4 દિવસથી ઠોકમ ઠોક કરું છું, પણ મારો સ્વભાવ નથી, મને ગમતું નથી. પણ આ બે મિત્રો ફેનિલજી અને બિશનભાઈ, they made it personal કે નહીં તમારે કરવાનું જ છે અને we want you to do it, and then I could not deny their persuasion. Thank you very much, friends, for giving me this an opportunity or finding me competent or eligible enough to occupy your time. So thank you very much. Now coming to the question, છેલ્લા 4 દિવસથી હું એની પર જ પ્રયત્ન કરી રહ્યો છું સાહેબ કે ઓથોરિટીનું પર્સપેક્ટિવ ચાર્ટર્ડ એકાઉન્ટન્ટ ફ્રેટર્નિટીને શેર કરું. क्या क्या थॉट प्रोसेसेस हुए, क्या सोचा गया, कैसे किसी फॉर्म को डिजाइन किया गया, क्यों बनाया गया. अगर मैं एक छोटा सा इलस्ट्रेशन एनेक्डोट बताऊं साहब, हम किसी नजदीक की ऑटो डीलरशिप में चले जाते हैं तो एक 25-35 हजार की स्कूटी लेने में भी उसका मशीन नंबर और चेसिस नंबर इनवॉइस में दर्ज होता है. So that movable small asset is also numbered, identified, attached to the buyer, and the ownership is traceable, markable. Whereas in real estate sector, जब बुकिंग होता था तो 3-3 साल तक एलओटी पैसे दिए जा रहा है और किसी को बताए कि इस फ्लैट में, इस अपार्टमेंट में मैंने, इस स्कीम में मैंने अपना एक छोटा सा अपार्टमेंट बुक किया है, तो हार्डली उसके पास कोई लीगल रिकोर्स करने के लायक पेपर्स होते थे. दैट वाज द स्टेज इन विच इंडस्ट्री वाज फंक्शनिंग, और वहां से उसको प्रॉपरली रेगुलेटेड एंड गवर्न्ड शेप में कंज्यूमर एम्पावरिंग के ऑब्जेक्ट से लाना था. और पूरे स्कीम ऑफ थिंग्स में आई मस्ट एक्नॉलेज कि चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स एज अ फ्रेटर्निटी इतनी इज्जत बनाई है मार्केट में कि रेरा के कंप्लायंसेस में भी जब भी बड़ा रोल देने की बात आई तो अथॉरिटी में से ये आवाज आई कि भाई चलो ये रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स को हैंड ओवर की जाए. अपने एंड से आपको लग सकता है कि हमारे सर्टिफिकेशन में फाइनेंशियल के साथ साथ रेगुलेटरी एस्पेक्ट्स भी है. क्यों है? लेकिन वो इसलिए है कि आपकी ऑब्जेक्टिविटी पे, आपके कंट्रीब्यूशन पे, आपकी एबिलिटी पे कोई संदेह किया नहीं जा सकता. इतना आपने फ्रेटर्निटी लेवल पे एक इमेज बनाया है. So that has contributed to devising and deploying these forms in certain way. LOT का नाम लेना, उसका KYC लेना, अगर नाम लेंगे पहले ये आया कि अपार्टमेंट के साथ LOT को कनेक्ट करें. LOT को जब कनेक्ट करने लगे तो आया कि भाई इसमें कोई गार्बेज डेटा आ जाएगा तो बोले उसको KYC उसका लिया जाए. KYC कौन सा ले? बोले ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस, पान कार्ड, आधार कार्ड, पासपोर्ट भी ऐसे करके आया कि भाई रियल एस्टेट में तो इन्वेस्टर अब्रॉड भी रहते हैं, तो उनका कोई लोकल तो केवाईसी रहेगा नहीं। सो ऐसी सब चीजें इवॉल्व होते होते ये सारे फॉर्म और कंप्लायंसेस हुए। अल्टीमेटली हमें मॉनिटर क्या करना है कि एलओटी को एएफएस हो गया, 10% से ज्यादा उससे पैसा लिया तो एएफएस हो गया। अगर एक से ज्यादा आदमी को तो एक ही अपार्टमेंट नहीं बेचा जा रहा, अगर अपार्टमेंट के ऊपर प्रोजेक्ट लोन लिया है और उसको मॉर्गेज किया है तो एएफएस करने के साथ उस पे नो ऑब्जेक्शन सिक्योर कर लिया है कि नहीं, ताकि सिंगल मॉर्गेज हो, सिंगल लियन हो, किसी अनुवांछित परिस्थिति में एक ही अपार्टमेंट के लिए बैंकर और एलओटी दोनों अपना क्लेम कर रहे हैं, ऐसी परिस्थिति ना हो। किसी ने पैसा उधार दिया है स्कीम बनाने के लिए, प्रोजेक्ट लोन वाले का तो फॉर्मल है, किसी ने अनसिक्योर्ड लोन दिया है किसी पर्टिकुलर प्रोजेक्ट के लिए, कैसे उस चीज को रिकॉर्ड पे लिया जाए? क्योंकि कायदे ने बोला, रूल 8 ने प्रिस्क्राइब किया कि अगर कोई अनवारंटेड सर्कमस्टेंसेस आते हैं, then authority is duty bound to consult all these people who are having their interest or stake in a real estate project or a stalled real estate project। तो अथॉरिटी को रियल एस्टेट प्रोजेक्ट को भी कंप्लीशन स्टेज पे लाना है, और ये सारे स्टेक होल्डर्स जिनके जिनके भी इंटरेस्ट है उनके इंटरेस्ट को भी सर्व करना है, प्रोटेक्ट करना है। कंज्यूमर के साथ साथ सप्लायर्स, क्रेडिटर्स, लेंडर्स, सबको एड्रेस करना है। अब ये सारी चीजों को कैसे रिकॉर्ड पे लाया जाए, बड़ा ही ह्यूमंगस चैलेंज था, और इसी ह्यूमंगस चैलेंज को मीट करने के लिए फॉर्म 3 को 2019 में हमने रिवाइज किया। उसको ये सारे एस्पेक्ट्स उसमें कैसे कवर किए जाए उसको डिजाइन किया। अब ये ज्यादा इंफॉर्मेशन मांगेंगे तो चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स को कैसे इनेबल किया जाए, क्या सर्कुलर्स, रेगुलेटरी चेंजेस, कैसे उनको एम्पावर करें कि उनको जो इंफॉर्मेशन कलेक्ट करनी है प्रमोटर से और सबमिट करनी है वो बेहतर तरीके से हो, कैसे हम उनका पर्सनल कंट्रोल उनके कंप्लायंसेस पे लाए। तो डिजिटल सिग्नेचर टेक्नोलॉजी पिक्चर में आई। मीनवाइल आईसीएआई भी फ्रॉडुलेंट चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट प्रैक्टिस को कंटेन करने के लिए यूडिन नंबर लेके आई थी। सो अथॉरिटी ने ये भी सोचा कि इसको भी कैसे लिंक किया जाए। तो फ्रेंड्स, ऐसी छोटी छोटी प्रोसीजरल चीजों को मिला के ये सारे कंप्लायंसेस के फॉर्म हुए, और ये सारी छोटी छोटी चीजें एक्ट की जरूरत, एक्ट के प्रिस्क्रिप्शन और एक्ट के ऑब्जेक्टिव को अटेंड करने के लिए बड़ा ही इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले करती है। और ऐसी इंपॉर्टेंट चीजें ही हम कंप्लायंस के द्वारा प्रोफेशनल्स के पास से एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं, चाहे वो आर्किटेक्ट हो, इंजीनियर्स हो या चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स हो। चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स का बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट, फाइनेंशियल डिसिप्लिन, रेरा सेपरेट अकाउंट, बैंकिंग रेगुलेशन, इन्वेंटरी मॉनिटरिंग, एएफएस, डॉक्यूमेंटेशन, ऑडिट, बड़ा ही लंबा चौड़ा फैला हुआ कंप्लायंस इकोसिस्टम बन गया है। I must acknowledge, but friends, it is the confidence of authority that you command, and as such authority expects कि ये सारे जो ऑब्जेक्टिव्स को अटेंड करने के लिए ये प्रक्रियाएं निर्धारित हुई है, वो प्रक्रियाएं उनके स्पिरिट के साथ इंप्लीमेंट हो, और यही एक्सपेक्टेशन ब्रॉडली अथॉरिटी की है फ्रेटर्निटी के पास। एक मैं ऐड करना चाहूंगा तलाटी साहब कि आपने जो जो अपॉर्चुनिटीज बताई, मैंने अपने पिछले सेशंस में भी उसके बारे में बात की थी कि अब क्योंकि पेपर वर्क के बिना रियल एस्टेट का इन्वेस्टर बनना पॉसिबल नहीं है, तो अब पेपर वर्क के साथ फॉर्मल वे में कैसे कोई रियल एस्टेट का इन्वेस्टर हो सकता है। He don't want to be an LOT, he don't want to be a business partner to a promoter, but he want to be an investor, take some amount of financial exposure. How that transaction can be appropriately reported to authority through form 3, what type of innovative documentation can be carried out, how the compliances can be met with, and कैसे उस इन्वेस्टर को एक एग्जिट विंडो भी कंप्लायंस और रेगुलेशन के दायरे में रहते हुए मिले, ताकि प्रमोटर को भी एक फॉर्मल सॉर्ट ऑफ फाइनेंसिंग अरेंजमेंट का एक स्कोप खुले। ये भी एक बड़ा एरिया ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटी हो सकता है अगर इंडिविजुअली और कलेक्टिवली प्रैक्टिशनर्स उसके बारे में सोचे और उसको एक्सप्लोर करें। इफ नीड बी, authority can also be contacted, and we can chart out a mechanism by which this objective investing activity can be provided a boost, so that ये testing time में जिनके पास liquidity या resources available है, वो कैसे करके real estate sector को और promoter को support कर सकते हैं regulation के दायरे में रहते हुए, वो भी एक अच्छा practice हो सकता है सर। Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now,
Bishan bhai, if I can only add what structure sir has recommended, that is what I had hinted in my suggestion, that only doing an LLP as a standard form of practice and then having partners capital in loan, I think as chartered accountants who are consulting, we have to think out of the box. For example, a private limited company can have a redeemable preference share structure. So you can meet the debt plus equity component in that fashion, that you are still getting a fixed return. You can have certain share of the profit. So there are multiple ways in which we can structure these transactions. Only thing is we have to make these aware to our clients and tell them that this is possible. And when I mentioned about the opportunity, one important point that we must all remember is our code of ethics. If you are a statutory auditor, then please ensure that you restrict to only expressing an opinion on the financial statements. You must then not get into the work of giving a form 3, issuing, other kinds of work which may be in a conflicting position. But if you feel that, no, I want to give consulting as an opinion, just avoid the statutory audit part or the form 5 part. Everything else under the sun, you are more than capable to do it. But now the time has come for us to realize that I do everything for this real estate project cannot work, especially with the new code of ethics that is going to be applicable from 1st of July. And more importantly, the 144 section of Companies Act and the other pronouncements of the institute and the government, where they are seeing independence is a very important criteria. So let's also ensure that from the smallest to the largest client.
Thank you, Aniket bhai. While discussing in these 4 days, we come across a question which has been raised by many members, that while certifying means of finance, what care should be taken by the members? Because previously we were never ever certified projected finances or projected figures. So can you give some light on that, Aniket bhai? SA 3400, which we were discussing here also. So on that.
Sure. So Bishan bhai, let us first understand the role of the chartered accountant. We are governed by the Chartered Accountants Act of 1949. There is the Act, there are the regulations, there is the Code of Ethics, and the pronouncements. What are the pronouncements? The standards that are issued by ICI. For statutory audits or for audit purposes, there is SAs, there is SRS, there is SAE, and there is SRE. So these are all within the SQC framework. So 5 standards in the audit domain. In the accounting domain, there are accounting standards. There is the Ind AS. In the internal audit, we now have internal audit standards. Very soon, we hope to have the standards for forensic audit, that is the forensic audit standards, and the valuation standards will also be notified. So these are the larger framework in which we function. Most important in that is the Chartered Accountants Act. So let us be very clear when we say, according to the Act and as per clause 3 of part 1 of the second schedule of the Chartered Accountants Act, clause 3, part 1, second schedule, member in practice is deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he engages in estimation of earnings contingent upon future transactions in a manner which may lead to belief to the user of the financial statements that he vouches for the accuracy of the forecast. So therefore, you cannot say that this is what will happen, because so far, the last I checked, neither in the intermediate nor in the final, we have astrology or astronomy as a topic or as a subject. So we are not experts at looking at the future or projecting that this is the future. But what we allow as the council and as the institute is certifying certain prospective financial informations that promoters prepare, and we can give certain opinion on that. What is that? You will not give the veracity that this is what will happen. કે આ 10% થી 5 વર્ષથી કંપની ગ્રો થઈ રહી છે એટલે આવતા 5 વર્ષમાં બી 10% થી ગ્રોથ હશે. મેં ભવિષ્ય જોયું નથી. કોરોના આવવાનું હતું એ ડિસેમ્બરમાં આપણા કોઈને ખબર નથી. So you cannot give projections and certify them to be true in a manner that you make the user of the financial statements believe that you are certifying and assuring કે આ તો થશે જ. That you cannot do. But what we can do is, for example, in the prospectus, there are certain projections that we are giving. For valuation purposes, there are certain projections that come. For banking purpose also, there are certain projections that come. So the institute has come out with the auditing standards. I'll just 2 minutes take your time to explain the auditing standards. I took a session on this at multiple locations. There was also a national webinar. Sadly, what we do as chartered accountants is we consider the accounting standards and Ind AS very well, because that reflects on the financial statement. The audit standard does not have a measurable tool, and therefore the standards on auditing and the other auditing standards take a back foot, which we call as engagement standard. CA final માં ભણ્યા પછી generally ઘણા લોકો પાછું એ ચોપડી ખોલતા પણ નથી. But I can share with you 2-3 important aspects why it is going to be important. One, if you look at the disciplinary mechanism of the institute, and you can go on the website, the orders are there for the last 4 or 5 years of all the cases that would have been heard. If you look at the major cases in which the auditor had performed his audit and he has been found not guilty by the institute, by NFRA also, or by any government authority or court, it is because he is able to demonstrate that he has followed the standards on auditing. So these standards are not a burden, but it is a shield which protects you in future. If you do something, if it is within the standards, then you can come and very clearly demonstrate that I had exercised my professional skepticism, I was not grossly negligent, and my work is as per the standards. So what are these standards? The SQC, which is the firm level standard, there is only one standard applicable to all proprietor firms. Please go through it. Then if we are doing historical financial information, right, there are two services. There can be assurance service, non-assurance service. Non-assurance would mean there is agreed upon procedure. જેમાં તમે opinion નથી આપતા third party માટે. It is between you and the client. So for that, there is standard on related services, which comes outside. For your financial statements or for the assurance functions, if it's relating to historical information, you can do an audit, which is covered by standard on audit. You can do a review, which is covered by SRE, interim review, quarterly review આપતા હોઈએ છે. So those are for historical information. Non-assurance में કીધું એમ SRS માં જશે. Assurance function હોય, audit કે review હોય તો SA કે SRE. અને એક ચોથું standard છે, પાંચમું standard છે, which is for future or prospective information, which we refer to as standards for assurance engagement, SAE. In the SAE 3400, there is a provision for you to certify future prospective financial information, but you will have to follow the standard to the core. The standard provides the means of how you must document, what is the inquiries that you must take, what are the documentation standards that are required to be met, and more importantly, what must be the format of reporting for a chartered accountant. So for any prospective financial information that the authority or any bank, in our case, the Gujarat is demanding, I would request all members, please refer to the report as issued in SAE 3400. There is an illustrative example at the end. If we follow that, then in my view, there is no harm in issuing a certificate or an assurance function for prospective financial information. But like I always mention, you have to be skeptical. You cannot be grossly negligent. So your calculations have to be verified. At the same time, you must just verify the reasonableness of the assumptions. That you cannot, for example, assume a 35% growth rate year on prices. That is practically not possible. That may get challenged. But besides that, if you have normal assumptions, if the client has taken, for you to verify that information and issuing a report as per SA 3400, it is not a challenge and it is in compliance.
Thanks, Aniket bhai. The next question has been posted by Atish Shah. Wants to ask that after 50% of booking cooperative society need to form, can we are planning to introduce concept of deemed conveyance so that litigation regarding FSI belong to whom can be avoided? Pathak sir, if you want to take this question.
Okay, friends, the querist has raised the question of deemed conveyance. It is accepted and in practice in neighboring state Maharashtra. However, in the state of Gujarat, state government has under the Cooperatives Act or any other pronouncement, the deemed conveyance concept is not there as a law or provision of any law which is implemented. So it is for us in Gujarat, it can be a thought process idea which can be deliberated at various forums, and if government finds it appropriate, then something may emerge. Right now it is not there. 50% booking, if promoter has attained, then as per RERA regulations, either a cooperative service society or a Section 8 company is to be formed and compliances are to be made. Thank you.
Bishan bhai, your voice is.
Thank you, Pathak sir and Aniket bhai. Now we have CA Manan Doshi, and he wants to post a question. So I request CA Manan Doshi to post his question.
Let me also introduce Manan bhai. He was one of the contributors to the branch publication that we came out with. Welcome, Manan bhai. Thank you always for contributing and being a part of this RERA initiative.
Thank you, Aniket bhai. I hope everybody is doing well in this lockdown. Respected Pathak sir, I have a question relating to project alteration. My question is that while applying for project alteration, if there are instances wherein promoter has accepted 10% or more of unit value, then in that case, whether it is mandatory to comply with the law and only then the alteration will be approved or not?
So, sir, as you are aware and you are a practitioner RERA consultant, any promoter who has ended up collecting more than 10% of consideration from LOT must have ensured that he has entered into an agreement for sale. So booking is right. Booking is evident. The rights of the LOTs are created under the agreement for sale, and under section 14(2), if any alteration is to be carried out by real estate promoter, then he has to take 2/3 of his LOTs in confidence and to seek approval from the authority as well. Thank you.
Right, sir. Okay, thank you.
Now I have a question for you. So if you can throw some light, what we should take care while getting registration, and what type of things we should do at the time of applying for alterations or alteration application.
For alteration application, Gujarat RERA has clearly pronounced its requirements for section 14 alterations. Order 8 is very clear. What can be the situations in which plan alterations take place, where the alteration of a currently registered project is allowed, and where the promoter has to resort to a different phased registration. Different phase means a different project registration. So those scenarios are elaborated in that circular. We have guided the local authorities as well that once approved plan, if promoter approaches them to revise the plan approvals, then local authorities are also demanding consent of 2/3 LOTs from promoters before considering the layout plan revision process. So promoter would have received consent of 2/3 LOTs. He has to ensure that he has the revised plan approved by the local authority, and then with both these approvals from LOTs and from local authority, promoter has to make project alteration application to Gujarat RERA authority along with the necessary documentation as evident on Gujarat RERA portal application, which I have narrated in my previous sessions, form 1, 2, 3, project progress information and other information. And this is how a project alteration application is to be approached in terms of compliance processes.
Now this question is for you, like social distance is now required. So for the short term, if is RERA implementing any measure for this, that like if you want to visit or if we have any hearing or a clarification or submissions, how we should do it?
Friends, so far as RERA portal services are concerned, almost all, except you want to change your data from the database due to some clerical error or financial figurative errors, you need not visit RERA office. All your application submission and compliance processes can be carried out online or through email support. So that is not going to be a challenge. The complaint hearing and other quasi judicial or judicial processes with adjudicating officer or authority, what Honorable Gujarat High Court will decide for itself and for all the judicial authorities in the geographical territory of Gujarat state, they will have to implement those guidelines or procedures, or extending of those options will also be clear once the lockdown is lifted and detailed guidance from High Court is put out in public domain. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, sir. Now, CA Shraddha Mehta had asked if the promoter has applied for extension once and then due to genuine reason he wants to further have an extension, how to process for the same? If Manan bhai, if you can answer this question.
Project extension, I think project extension is done by the authority. The promoter has to apply for the first extension with the Gujarat RERA authority, right? And the authority then evaluates the paper that you have submitted. On the base of your submission, the first extension is provided by the RERA authority. Now, as far as the second extension is concerned, there is no, I think as far as I know, there is no mechanism as far as second extension is concerned. You need to have a physical application done at the Gujarat RERA authority. The authority looking to the specific circumstances of that project and on the merits of that project might give the second extension to that particular project. So I think only after applying physically at the RERA authority, the authority might further give a light on this particular subject.
The common areas are going to be used by 24
Vinay from Bangalore, but I guess his mic is yet muted. So now I ask another question. In order to get in excess of 10% money of sale deed, amount EOS is required to enter. That is what Atish Shah again asked. And so in order to get excess of 10% money of sale deed, amount of AOS is required to enter. That is what Atish Shah has said, but I guess thereafter his question is not there. Shraddha Mehta has asked,
Bishan
is
bhai,
RERA applicable? Yes, sir.
Yeah, only to add to Manan bhai's point, and if Pathak Sahib also wants to add, since it's a discussion, I would think you should take the views of others also, so we can hear
Yes,
the
yes.
authorities' view. For the extension
Yeah.
question, I would also opine that if you look at the Bombay High Court, for example, and again it's not a jurisdictional high court, but they have allowed for certain there are orders that have cited where they have said that the project extension beyond one should also be granted, that is beyond 1 year also, and multiple applications. And what the High Court effectively said in the order was that it has to be decided on a case-to-case basis by the authority. My understanding also in Gujarat is that the authority will, especially looking at the circumstances that we are in, faced with this corona and construction delays, if these are genuine cases for extension, I'm sure the authority hears them with a open mind. But it should not just become an excuse for unscrupulous promoters to keep extending. So I think that balance, if there is there, I am of the opinion that I have seen cases where the authority has extended also.
Pathak sir, if you want to add something.
Friends, I would like to add here that even in the case of application for extension and authority acceding to the request of the promoter, don't consider this an authority's view. Allow me to have some of my personal views as well here. Allow me to be Ghanshyam. So from consumer's perspective, the interpretation of section 18, the ability of an LOT to claim compensation for delay in possession or to claim interest for the period for which possession is delayed is also a very interesting jurisprudence here. And as a practitioner, you must look from the end of the LOTs as well, because some of the LOTs may come to you that our promoter has applied for extension, they have again applied for a second extension, and he is keeping on securing it because of the refinement of documentation and submissions. But I have been denied my rightful possession beyond a reasonable period of time. Now, what are the provisions in the Act which ensures reasonable return on my financial exposure in terms of interest? Because the same judgment, Talati Sahib, Honorable Bombay High Court has said that the interest is not compensation, interest is the right, because the financial exposure that consumer has taken for a period of time, his exposure must get rewarded. So these all are intrigue issues, tricky situations. As a practicing consultant, the desire to view things from the promoter's perspective is right. I would not deny it. But then ability to view it from the consumer's perspective as well, considering consumer your potential clients, will make the practice more interesting. Thank you.
Thank you, Pathak sir, Aniket bhai and Manan bhai, to add something on to this. Now, Shraddha Mehta asks that, is RERA applicable in the region where SUDA is not applicable? Also, it is a request to add list of area where RERA is applicable on RERA portal. I guess we have discussed this, that town planning authority. But it's a suggestion, if you can implement, sir. We have with us Mr. Vinay from Bangalore. So I request him to ask his question. Vinay?
Yeah. Vinay here from Bangalore. Thank you for arranging this program by Ahmedabad ICAI. I represent 5 states in South India where I practice RERA extensively. And I congratulate branch as well as the RERA officials, Mr. Ghanshyam, spending 5 days on every evening to have this session. And I can say that this is the longest session or number of hours the institute has conducted by any branch on RERA. I congratulate the entire team the way that they have conducted. So that is my acknowledgement and appreciation. And my question is in terms of the modification of the cost, how the authority is considering the modification of the cost, considering the enhancement in enhancement of estimated cost due to increase in the material cost or maybe the interest cost. So how
Pathak Sahib, I think he's referring to the estimated cost that we file at the time of the registration in Form 3 and subsequent amendment to the costs that can happen. Again, I have held this view and we have had this discussion, and thankfully we have agreed to disagree. So I will not take it further. But my view is that an estimate is always an estimate, subject to whatever happens in the future. And if it's a long gestation period project, sometimes estimates cannot be so accurately defined, and therefore there may be a genuine cause for them to come and revise the estimate. I had then the opportunity of interacting with the then chairperson, Manjula Madam, and she explained the other perspective. It's like Pathak Sahib mentioned, sometimes we only consider our client's view and therefore don't understand the other side. And then this is also, I think, accepted practice even in Maharashtra regarding the estimated costs, why they are not allowing to change. So yes, the authority has the view that usually this is not allowed to be changed, Pathak Sahib, except I think you've told us in exceptional circumstances where he's able to come and demonstrate to you what are those reasons, and that exceptional curve is not getting shown as far as the project percentage completion is happening. And those, except those cases, I believe it is not the standard practice in Gujarat to change the estimated cost. Correct, sir?
Yes, sir, you are right. Sir, there are two aspects on this. Allow me to elaborate. One is why we are capturing estimated cost. The reply to this why is very important. As a practicing consultants, you all must understand that estimated cost is captured for two obvious reasons and two very prominent and pertinent reasons under the Act and its scheme of Act. One is all the penalties under this Act are based on the estimated cost. Section 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64. So for any given real estate project, once a detailed project planning has taken place, so much so considering the ecosystem that Gujarat RERA authority has created, if a project promoter has sat with his architect, engineer, structural engineer, quantity surveyor, Form 2 engineer, Form 1 architect, quality engineer, chartered accountant, he has resorted to preparation of means of finance. If every process of real estate project planning is carried out, then friends, the estimated cost must be considered reasonably to be the final cost, or 5 or 10% around the final cost. So the need to freeze the estimated cost for penalty perspectives is very well established. The another is why we are resorting to Form 3 certification. Friends, we are resorting to Form 3 certification because Section 4(2) LD warrants that promoter cannot have access to monies lying into separate account. That is 70% of the money collected from LOTs put in a separate account cannot be accessed unless a chartered accountant along with architect and engineer certifies proportional completion of the real estate project, demonstrating expenditure incurred and paid, and to that extent money is to be withdrawn. Now this financial discipline has an upper cap. What is the upper cap? That project would have, say, 100 rupees of a selling price for an apartment. 70% would be deposited into separate account, 70 rupees. Estimated cost for constructing this real estate, land and construction only. No marketing, selling, profit margin or other things, administration cost, are out of these Form 3 estimations. Only the land cost and construction development cost are part and parcel, with a marginal deviation, that is interest has been considered as part of development cost because it's a major cost component. So the objective of this upper cap is to ensure that while the promoter is always having 30% of the money from the LOT as a free liquidity available to him to be utilized for project to demonstrate incurred and paid, because to demonstrate incurred and paid also he has to have some liquidity. So 30% money of the LOT and his own capital or borrowed resources is his necessary liquidity, working capital liquidity. As soon as he demonstrates incurred and paid, he can keep on withdrawing the money out of separate account, but not beyond estimated cost, which is in any case far below his estimated revenue from the real estate project. Whatever the price escalation or even for supervisory lapses, if he fails to supervise properly and his cost increases because of the wrong supplier selection, maybe a promoter has hired some ready mix concrete supplier, he had to have a slab of say some 32 grade concrete and he ended up having a supply of 28 grade, then the strength of the concrete will not be assessed while testing, and in that case he will have to break the entire slab and rebuild it. Now this cost cannot be attributable to the price escalation. It is because of the wrong implementation, supervisory lapse. These are the inherent risks for the promoter for his business execution. He has to be responsible for them, and for that he cannot be allowed to change the upper cap over the monies that he has access from the separate account. So friends, when you see the entire scheme of the act and its implementation and financial discipline requirement, you would also agree that estimated cost need not be allowed to change. However, estimates are estimates, as Talati Sahab has rightly said, and authority is also not resorting to any adverse observation in case of your incurred and paid cost being lower or higher of the estimated cost. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have another contributor of this booklet, e-filing guide, Mr. C.A. Sarthak Bansali with us. So now I request Sarthak Bansali to post his question and his thought on this panel discussion. Sarthak, if you can unmute your mic. Yes.
Good evening, all of you. Aniket bhai, Ghanshyam sir, and Bishan bhai. It's always the panelists. Today's panelists, basically, it's always an honor to hear both of you. हमेशा ही मजा आता है सुन के. My question basically is to Pathak sir with respect to registration. Sir, in this time during COVID, a lot of our files are stuck up at the office because of the authority not working at full strength. So, and there are also certain queries that are coming up. So, for example, queries with respect to means of finance. So, can we submit means of finance which are digitally signed by both the promoter as well as the chartered accountant?
You can anything in excess of what for your ease of operations in this challenging time. I don't think there should be any problem from authorities end. Authority is open to accept the submissions in different electronic or physical. We will consider it.
Right. Another follow-up to the same question.
Sarthak, just let me add one minute. Sarthak, if you allow me.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, Sarthak bhai. You have been a very strong contributor to the cause of popularizing RERA in the publication also. So our welcome to you also. My 2 points on that suggestion that you gave in regards to the means of finance and then regarding the digital signature. So first on the means of finance, I was just disturbed by the one word you said that promoter can sign and we can sign. So let's be clear, if you are signing anything as the means of finance, it should always be accompanied by a report. So ensure that you are referring to the SA 3400 that we talked about, and the report is accompanied. Secondly,
Right.
on the digital signature, let's try and understand. See, there is the Information Technology Act 2000, section 3 and 4 talk about what documents can be certified by you in a digital form. Very clearly, it says that except, for example, conveyancing. So when you have to sell a property, that cannot be done by DSC. If something that requires a notary, that cannot be done through digital signature. And there are 4 other exceptions. Besides that, all documents can be digitally signed. Now you come to the Indian Evidence Act. Even on the Evidence Act and various Supreme Court orders, the weight of evidence of a digital document and a physical document has been kept at par. Till the time you are able to prove that your digital document has a hashtag, hash value, it has timestamp on it, and the uniqueness can be established, the digital signature signed document has the same evidentiary value. So in my view, if the authority also deems it fit, sir, SEBI has come out with a circular saying that we will accept quarterly results signed with DSC. Even the AASB of ICAI has allowed all our members to issue certificates using their digital signatures. And if the authority can also, sir, consider this favorably, I think it will save a lot of time. Also, unnecessary physical movement of submissions.
No, it's a very good suggestion. I will put forth it with the authority as well, take up internally. If we can come up with circular or something like that, we will explore it. Thank you.
Sir, just a quick follow-up. There are certain other documents also where queries have been raised, so which requires a notary or certain photographs or something has been provided. So, would the authority also consider, based on an undertaking which is digitally signed by the promoter, who files for registration and then subsequently after the COVID times are over, those documents can be physically submitted to the authority? So that
Sarthak bhai, if I am not wrong, then except for Form B affidavits, no other document requires notary or anything else.
Yes.
And if beyond Form B, B1, B2, if notary or something like affidavit is desired by any wing of the authority, be it technical wing or legal wing, then the concerned wing officials must have had resorted to a minute evaluation of that application, and then this additional notary or additional affidavit would have been extended to that specific promoter to ensure the necessary comfort for registering his project. Now, first of all, this additional affidavit or notarized document requirement in itself is an extension of some leeway to the particular promoter or application. Now further, if we desire that even now that notary or affidavit should have been converted into a simple undertaking, I think it would be difficult for any of the officers who would have initiated the request. However, you can, for a specific case, you can approach the concerned wing officer and explore the possibility of diluting the requirements, if at all possible, depending on the merits of the application. Thank you.
Right, sir. Yeah, right. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarthak bhai. There is one question from one of the participants that if promoter has already availed the extension of 1 year from the RERA authority, then do this general extension due to COVID-19 is lawful, and can promoter avail this general extension period provided by RERA?
Friends, this general extension is an opportunity to apply for extension only. It doesn't tantamount that every application made under this order 33 would result in grant of extension, because authority will have to look into the circumstances. that if you had registered, you had a project end date, you had an extension period of 1 year, and still if you have not completed, what are the circumstances that are leading to further extension would be looked into by the appropriate officials in the authority.
If you want to add something on this extension, force majeure for government. Anyway, in a lighter sense, now I request Vinay. Vinay is having one question regarding this land. So in Gujarat, what we did that 100%, if someone has incurred for land and paid, basically, then it is eligible to withdraw and we consider it. Sir, if you can throw some light on this incurred and paid so far as the land is concerned. Vinay, if you can unmute and if you want to ask on that point. I guess he's not able to unmute himself. So, sir, if you can throw some light on this. Land contribution.
Friends, land contribution incurred and paid, I think it is very simple. If you have already executed a sale deed and made all the payments to the land seller, then the promoter has paid him off. His books of account will demonstrate that he has paid all the consideration towards the land. Then the entire amount considered as incurred and paid is withdrawable under Rule 5, Sub-Rule 1 and Sub-Rule 2 of the RERA General Rules. Rule 5, Sub-Rule 1 is about expenditure incurred and paid till the point of registration. And then Sub-Rule 2 is for land payments. If they are incurred and paid to the point of incurred and paid, they are withdrawable at the outset. That is just with the registration, the limit for withdrawal is created through Form 3 submitted for registration at the time of registration, certified by chartered accountant. Basis verification of books of accounts and other records. So incurred and paid amount on land becomes withdrawable with registration. However, the actual withdrawal naturally depends on the monies collected and credited into the separate bank account.
Thank you, sir. We are having Mahadev Birla also here, who is also a contributor to this book. But I guess his mic is not working. But we really appreciate the efforts which has been put by him and his contribution at a general level. Advocate Nipun Sanghvi and chartered accountant also was there, but today I am not finding him in attendee. Now, sir, coming to this current situation or a scenario. Pardon, sir, can you unmute? Yes. Looking to this COVID scenario. And you know how the real estate is progressing. If we see what future or as an authority perspective, how do you see the real estate industry in this lockdown period? Have you received any application for a new project, or how a real estate industry should go ahead? Pathak sir, and then Aniket sir, definitely you also have to add.
Of course, it's a challenging time, unprecedented, never seen before, still uncertain. 3rd of May is yet to come. Honorable Prime Minister and his team, along with all the chief ministers, are engaged in charting out a strategy for country as a whole and for each specific state through their chief ministers and governments. These are challenging times, but all RERA authorities are also deliberating and charting out ways in direct communication with CREDAI or NAREDCO as industry bodies. So the real estate sector is also part of a greater economy, and naturally it is also going to take a hit. But then, like agriculture, real estate is the second largest employer for non-formal labor force. And this COVID has also increased the importance of having livable dwelling houses. The hitherto traditional approach of Indian families, of joint families, large families, small houses, will also be looked in a different sense. So there are challenges, and there are green shoots also, light at the end of the tunnel. From authority point of view, whatever data we have in our office, authority has made this extension application process operational. Till today, we have received one application on portal for COVID related extension for a project having a end date on 30th of April, which is tomorrow. So there is no much of a data for us also to dwell upon and say that what is the impact, or what is the quantum of the impact, if at all any negative impact, or what is the extent of that negative impact. In terms of regular registration, I have had shared during my past sessions as well, that we are communicating with promoters whose applications are brought on table for authorities approval, that whether they want to continue with the approval with their pre-decided project end date, or they want to modify those project end dates. Not more than 5% of the promoters have opted the option. 90-95% are sticking to their planned project execution and planned project end dates, which is also a good sign. But everything said and done, many things are uncertain, and any clear judgment right now is difficult. However, Aniket ji is connected at national level. He would be able to throw some more light. Aniket ji.
Thank you, sir. I think so 2-3 important points that we will have to consider, and I think this is where our role as chartered accountants will also come in. There is a lot of discussion, for example, that the co-working that we have seen for all these decades, that is sitting in an office and working in a formal environment, will not be the same ever again. The social distancing norms are going to be there. We cannot expect that on 3rd of May, for example, when the scheduled lockdown is supposed to be lifted, subject to any further extension, that everything will be okay and this virus is going to depart India. It is a reality. It will stay here. South Korea, for example, has come out with a 2-year plan of how do you address this challenge, because they don't see it going for 2 years also. That is the last person in the last line being vaccinated. Similarly, I think we will have to look at it from a medium and long-term perspective, where people will adjust to the new norm of working from home. It will become a policy, a standard aspect. So that will definitely create a huge change in the demand for commercial real estate. That is my assessment that we are getting also by discussing a lot of people nationally. We in fact had Niranjan Hiranandani ji coming the day before yesterday, and we had a detailed discussion with him on a webinar on this aspect also. But what is also important and critical, I feel, in this juncture is that the huge opportunity that lies with India as a country because of the new ABC, which says anywhere but China. So a lot of companies across the world are saying we will go anywhere but in China. And when these companies in China are looking to move, we do have a competitive edge. There is a huge edge in terms of the the human resources, the skills, the language barrier that doesn't affect us, and also the availability of industrial zones and parks that are in the country. Only thing is that the government will have to remove the shackles of bureaucracy, if I can use the word. If that can happen and you can have a single window kind of an entrance for larger projects, I think the sheer demand of these big 2-3 projects, 10 projects that can come. I'll give you an example. Samsung is in, I believe in Philippines, it controls almost 20% of the GDP. So their plant outside of China, the biggest one, is can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So what I was saying is, I was giving you the example of Samsung. By moving to a small Southeast Asian country, they are now 17 to 20% of its GDP. So if you have such large scale companies which come to India, I think that will definitely spur up a lot of industrial demand in terms of the plots. And then comes the entire ecosystem of their offices, residential. But in the short to medium term, I feel the commercial real estate will have challenges. People will try and facilitate. For example, even at the institute, we are thinking of how we can allow our members, give them technology that they don't have to go to office. We give them VPN, firewall, laptops, and other cloud networking services so that they are effectively able to work even if there is a second wave of this corona coming. Similarly, all organizations are thinking on that platform. So in the short to medium term, there will be challenges, but like Pathak Sahib said, I think there is light at the end of the tunnel. The sheer resilience of our people, and to understand that 130 crore people have, on the one word of the Prime Minister, adhered to his request, stayed indoors, largely been very cooperative. Even in these times, we always blame the promoters or the developers. There were a lot of installments for houses and that were due. A lot of other installments that were promised as per the agreement for sale that a buyer had to make. I have not seen any large scale complaint coming saying the promoters are still forcing that in this lockdown also you make payment. People have shown their human side to an excellent extent, especially in our country. I think something we have to be very proud of, and that gives me a confidence that this resilience, this sheer nature of the Indian entrepreneur is going to take us through these tough challenges. The challenges are tough, as they say. When the going is tough, the tough get going. We have to play our role, make sure that we are giving them the right guidance. I think this is extraordinary opportunity. I'm hearing international conferences, and everywhere accounting firms and chartered accountants are moving from traditional practice areas to now focusing on consulting. We have so far not been able to bill for our consulting services, but now is the time. I request everybody who's attending that when we are giving out these solutions, let's try and also make sure we do it in the most professional manner. It gives out solutions and opportunities to the developers and also creates some professional work for us.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I now I request, yes, Pathak sir. I'll come to you. I'll come to you, sir. Sir, you can unmute. Yes.
Okay. Yes, friends. At Gujarat RERA also, authority is, as I have previously shared with you, we are in a process of coming out with RERA 2.0 software ecosystem. I am pleased to share with you people that the 2.0 software ecosystem also encompasses this possibility of offline working. That is for all forms of Gujarat RERA, Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, means of finance. All these forms would now henceforth, once the 2.0 is made operational, they would be Excel template downloadable. You can work offline, and then you can push the Excel templates into the RERA system, which will allow you to work offline in terms of without continuous internet connectivity with Gujarat RERA, or for that matter, it will enable the internal processes of chartered accountancy practice also to be carried out at your pace. There would be, as we know, in indirect tax and indirect tax, there are regulators who are having their own computer systems, and then there are intermediate players who are offering small software solutions or applications which allows you to ensure that your internal processes are taken care of in a real-time sense or in consultation with your promoters. So those are the emerging ecosystem that we at authority are also envisaging, and we are trying to create those ecosystems. Of course, it will take some time, but then the market players will chalk out their own ways, and the consultants will also chalk out their own processes to meet with the newly created challenges as well. Working from different geographical places and working in collaboration. That is going to be a new technology dependency, and technology only can provide appropriate solutions, and things will emerge. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Now, as you have said many times that RERA is coming with 2.0 version, and with this, sir, once it is implemented, because we all are also working for income tax, for GST, is there any chances of information being exchanged with various tax authorities by the RERA? Because what happens, sir, say in RERA I am showing my project completion 80%, but I have not incurred or booked those expenditure. Then definitely, if this information has been shared with income tax authority or GST authority, I will be like, as a developer, there is some issues, hidden issues, which I can say. So can you just quickly give answer to this?
सर, मैं कहना चाहूंगा कि मेरे स्कूल लिविंग सर्टिफिकेट, मेरे जॉब एप्लीकेशन फॉर्म, मेरा आधार कार्ड, मेरा पान कार्ड, मेरा पासपोर्ट, साले हर जगह पे मैंने अपनी डेट ऑफ बर्थ तो एक ही बताई। अब पता नहीं अलग अलग बताने से क्या फायदे होते, वो किसी चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट दोस्त ने बचपन में बताया होता तो मैं भी अलग अलग बताता। थैंक यू।
Yes, sir. So basically, no chartered accountants advise this, and that's why I want answer from Aniket bhai now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. No, I am sorry. It was not a fraternity specific. It was just in a friendly tone.
Yeah, you are asking me.
No, sir. No. Please, Aniket ji.
Yes, Aniket ji.
नहीं sir. I will assure you, अलग डेट ऑफ बर्थ होती है तो सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज पहले हमको आता है, you know in the PAN card and all other applications. So we are more happy to have the same, not just date of birth but first name, middle name, last name also, because there are multiple problems that we face going forward. So that we are sir, definitely there. But I think now in this day of technology, Bishan bhai, I think your question, yes, we had the old way of doing things where we would submit different. For example, I'll give you a simple example, a stock statement. What you gave to the bank on 28th of March and balance sheet 31st of March, we all know what used to happen. But promoter was giving, we were not certifying, it is okay. If you look at the new Caro which is coming, it is very clearly stating that on a quarterly basis, have you checked that the statement you submit with the bank is the same as per books of account. So now, the authorities have also gotten very smart. They are also knowing how to do it. And even today, leave alone RERA 2.0. If a smart income tax assessing officer wants to get your RERA submissions, if he wants to ask that please give me your quarterly returns relating to this year, he can definitely on that basis assess what was the completion percentage of completion. Nobody is stopping him even now. Only thing is, maybe they do not have the knowledge of the act, which will come eventually. See, end of the day, I discussed this with Patak Saab a lot of times, and he said SEBI was formed in 1990. 30 years they have now been able to create that regulatory framework. Only 15 years ago, the DMAT was introduced. So similarly, it will take time, but I think it's in our all best interest that we advise our clients that so far jo ho gaya chalta hai, but going forward, it's lesser of a headache to have the same numbers everywhere. And more importantly, now when we have such a good tax system in terms of the tax rates, I would suggest that these kind of plannings and thinking was fine for the previous generation. In the newer generation, even in the promoters, we all work with, when the next generation comes in, they are more keen to follow the law, letter and spirit, and ensure that they are able to comply with this. So I don't think this will be a big challenge. And even if they share this information, like GST and income tax, I'm aware is sharing on a regular basis. Then there is the DI which shares. So that happens. Even going forward, if RERA 2.0 facilitates this, I'm sure it is only going to be in our interest, and we can prove our percentage of completion even more strongly to the authority.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We have one participant, CA Ramesh Pujara, and he basically had contributed a lot in questions also. So, can I ask CA Ramesh Pujara sir to post his question, sir? Pujara sir?
Hello.
Yes, sir. We can hear you. Sir, kindly unmute.
My question is simple. In case of sale deed, as per the, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, go ahead.
In case of sale deed, as Ghanshyam bhai has mentioned earlier, sale deed cannot be entered before BU, but we have seen that revenue authority is allowing to enter into sale deed even before BU. Can you focus some light on that?
As a practicing chartered accountant, you would appreciate the fact that any document to be executed under Stamps Act and Registration Act would have to have certain attributes necessary to be verified by registration officers in respect to those acts. So a sale deed taking place between buyer and seller or promoter and allotee, I am not sure. Maybe they have their own systems, but I am personally not sure whether the registration officers are required to look into the aspect whether the property has received BU or not. If that had been the case, there would have been no unauthorized colonies or no resale of properties from unauthorized colonies, because without BU, no deeds would have taken place. Now here the BU, the requirement for promoter to adhere to comply his responsibilities under RERA Act. So every promoter who is having a project registered under RERA has to abide by the provisions of RERA. This is like any company जो अपने books of accounts बनाती है, तो क्या वो books of account पे साइन करने से पहले उसके डायरेक्टर उसके प्रॉफिट के बारे में डिस्कस नहीं कर सकते? कर सकते हैं अगर अनलिस्टेड है तो, लेकिन लिस्टेड है तो नहीं कर सकते. सेबी के गाइडलाइंस है, सेबी के नॉर्म्स है, तो इनसाइडर ट्रेडिंग हो जाएगा, लीकेज ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन हो जाएगा, डिफॉल्ट अंडर रेगुलेशन हो जाएगा, पीनल एक्शन उनके ऊपर हो जाएगा. यहाँ तक के वो स्टॉक मार्केट में उनको डीबार भी कर सकते हैं. तो और नॉट जस्ट डायरेक्टर्स, इवन द केएमपीस को भी वो नॉर्म्स अप्लाई होते हैं. सो लिस्टेड कंपनी के लिए जैसे डिस्क्लोजर रिक्वायरमेंट्स है, उनकी डिसिप्लिन रिक्वायरमेंट्स है, रेगुलेशन है, वैसे ही रेरा एक्ट के तहत रजिस्टर्ड प्रोजेक्ट के लिए उसके प्रमोटर की रेगुलेशन एडहेरेंस रिक्वायरमेंट्स है, डिसिप्लिन एग्जीक्यूशन रिक्वायरमेंट है. तो उन रिक्वायरमेंट्स के साथ किसी को लीनियंसी एडॉप्ट नहीं करनी चाहिए, क्योंकि उसके रेमिफिकेशंस कॉस्टली हो सकते हैं. थैंक यू.
Thank you, sir. Sir, there is one question, Aniket bhai, if you can give some light on that. CA Shreyans Thar asked that in redevelopment project, how we calculate land cost? How to calculate the land cost in case of redevelopment project? Or Pathak sir, if you can. Yes, sir. You are not audible. Let me check. Till that time, Pathak sir, if you can answer.
So friends, for redevelopment, land cost assessment in redevelopment project, you have to simply follow the data creation in Gujarat RERA Chartered Accountant Certificate Form 3. Friends, once you have filled the annexure for Form 3 and you have marked the respective units to be considered under that redevelopment scheme, that will give you the number of units being part of redevelopment activity vis-a-vis the total units of the inventory in the project, which will eventually give you the percentage of redevelopment unit vis-a-vis total total units, and then applying those percentage to the development cost as certified by engineer in form 2, construction cost as certified by engineer in form 2, estimated cost. When you apply the redevelopment percentage, you can have the cost of development of redevelopment units, cost of construction of redevelopment units, and this cost of construction of redevelopment units is to be shown as cost of land cost of project under redevelopment, along with the add-on cost of redevelopment like rent or some furniture charges or ex gratia amount that promoter has promised to the actual owners of the apartment which are going for redevelopment. So these aspects are elaborated in form 3, part 1, subpart 2 in redevelopment phase. Once you are clear of construction cost to be apportioned for redevelopment units, rest data, the firm will take care. Thank you.
Aniket, now is it possible for you to
Yeah, I think there was some problem with the headphone. Sorry.
Yes. So the next question is, sir, from Biren Kumar Goradia. Biren bhai, if you can ask your question. Biren bhai. So Biren bhai has asked, sometimes we ask to promoter to make sale deed with high amount to get over finance from the bank. But promoter told us that it's not possible under the RERA. Is it so? So you know,
Aniket bhai would.
Yes.
No, I would only like to say that see, the sale deed amount is what is the price that is agreed between the buyer and the seller for the consideration to be paid, and that is what must be reflected in the sale deed. There is no restriction in RERA that you cannot charge a higher amount if the buyer is willing to pay. There is no restriction within the RERA Act or any other act in the country which can put a ceiling on the pricing per square foot. It's all market driven pricing that has to apply, subject to the minimum jantri that has to be complied for the purpose of paying the stamp duty. But even if you want to do a document, for example, below the stamp duty rate, that is a jantri rate, you only have to pay stamp duty as per stamp duty rate, and you can always, if there are circumstances where it is not selling and you have actually sold it below, your stamp duty will be assessed as such, and your income tax may have certain repercussions. But if the promoter is not agreeing for that sales value rate, I don't think there is anything that we can do as chartered accountants. Only that it has to be understood by them that if there are this is the sale value at which the document is going to be executed, the buyer is ready, then as chartered accountants or as consultants, we must always encourage that.
Thank you, Aniket bhai. And definitely what you say to all the members that we should, go with the letter and spirit of the law. And as per the law, whatever, and since it's going to be synchronized, GST, income tax, and RERA, all is on the platform. And as ABCD of information technology is going to come, say blockchain and everything, so everything will be on a single platform. So we definitely advise to the client that whatever they are doing, it should be a right and correct thing for methodology. Next question has been posed by Kishan Nathwani.
Yeah, Bishan bhai, just to
yes,
add,
yes.
see, tax planning and managing your affairs in the most efficient manner for GST and income tax is our prevalent right. Multiple Supreme Court orders that have upheld it, and everybody appreciates it. Only thing is that we must try and find out, like I said, there are multiple structures in the capital structuring in other formats where we can genuinely plan the taxes in a better manner, and at the same time ensure that you don't cross the Lakshman Rekha of law. So my only point that I was trying to make on the initial point also is that we have to think creatively and out of the box, at the same time limiting our structuring and everything else within the four corners of law.
Yes, sir. And as if I summarize it in one line, કે ગુજરાતીમાં કહેવત છે, મીઠા લોટમાં મીઠું ભળે, મીઠામાં લોટ નહીં. Kishan bhai, if you want to ask, sir. So Kishan bhai has posted his question. The major problem in registration of agreement of sale: first, customer are reluctant to visit registrar twice. The customer wants to switch over for another unit which are not booked, might be lesser in amount and might be higher in amount. Third, sometimes customers association is reluctant to take admin work of the project. Can be complained in this regard, as it is sometimes cumbersome to admin every project. This is very funny, but I am facing this issue.
Friends, you all are aware that the ARERA Act 2016 came after a prolonged struggle that started in 2008 to contain or control the sellers market of real estate sector in India, and to enable an environment in which consumer interests are served to a reasonable extent. So it has always been a seller's market. I am amused that there are promoters who are taken for ride by their customers, either about registration or about change of allotment, inventory. So consumers are not having those mighty powers with them to dictate the terms against promoters. They have never been so, and that's why the Act. However, the last question that you posed about association of LOT is not willing to take over the responsibilities. Act has empowered the promoter to a reasonable extent. LOTs, warranties under the agreement for sale and under the Act are clearly pronounced, spelled out. And if there is a situation wherein promoter finds himself in a situation where it is no more conducive to resolve the issue with the association of LOT, he can also approach the authority to amicably make LOTs accountable towards their responsibility through authority intervention, and by which he can demonstrate his obligation being fulfilled appropriately. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, sir. Aniket bhai, if you want to add something on this, or Manan bhai?
No, so like I said, the act,
Yes.
the act is not just for the real estate developer. Of course, there are a lot of sections which are dealing with the developer, but there are responsibilities cast even on the buyer. So 2-3 very important responsibilities are: A, he has to adhere to the timelines in terms of the payment schedule. If not, even he has to pay the interest. Second, he has to cooperate in the formation of the society. That is also included in the scheme of the act. And third, the case that you said about the 10% that he had asked in the question, well, it is his responsibility also that when he's buying a real estate project and has made payment of in excess of 10%, then to get a registered agreement for sale, it has to be enforced by the promoters also. And if they find a case that the allotee is not willing to do it, and they feel he is not cooperating, either they cannot sell the project to him, refund the amount, or it can always be brought to the attention of the authority, because the redressal mechanism under the act is not just qua allotee. Even the promoter can come and apply and make sure that he is given remedy under the act.
Thank you. CA Manish Shah has asked one question. Manish bhai, if you can ask your question.
Sahib,
Sir, we will request last question.
Talati Sahib is very busy, and I am little bit busy. So
well, let's have a last question,
my chairperson is waiting for me. I have had a call from his office that I am supposed to report to his office after this webinar. So Talati Sahib, if you can, Shah Sahib can understand after 1 or 2 questions, because we will have to spare few minutes of Thanksgiving. I must acknowledge all of you also, and then we will try and conclude. And my office is open for everybody to come and share a cup of coffee with me. My coffee is pretty famous in Gujarat. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The last question. Firm has a very old land. Its value is historical. And market value is higher than the Jantri. What value to be taken for RERA? That CM Marisha has asked. So, if Manan bhai, if you want to answer. So now you can check. Manan bhai's mic is not working. So Pathak sir or Aniket bhai, if you can. Okay, Manan bhai started. Your mic was on. No sir. Pathak sir or Aniket bhai.
Aniket bhai, please.
No, so if you look at the value of the land, I believe there is the provision that is given under the form itself that you can use the index value. So the indexation is already provided. So in the case that is been mentioned here, it's an old land, you can always index it from the 2001 value. The 2001 valuation report can be obtained, very similar to how we do it for the income tax purpose for capital gain calculation also. Alternately, a valuation certificate can also be obtained, which has now been brought into the rules and made effective. So a valuation certificate on that basis also from an approved valuer, if the value can be ascertained, that value can be put for the project as an estimated cost, and that same amount will go in the incurred and paid column. I have always suggested that whenever the actual amount is not paid because it has come historically and ancestrally, there are notes which can be put in the form 3 and very clear mention can be made that though this amount is not actually paid, we have used the benefit of the rule to index the cost or to take the fair market value, and that amount has been placed in both columns for estimated as well as incurred and paid.
Manan bhai, if you want to add.
Yeah, so Aniket bhai has rightly mentioned that Gujarat RERA authority has issued circular 2 which clearly mentions that in case if you have to go for the indexation of land, then you can make it and you can obviously give a note in the form 3 that how you have indexed the land acquisition, and thereby give the necessary clarification.
So, sir, with this, we at Ahmedabad branch of WRC of ICAI, thankful to you. First, I'll thank to Aniket bhai, and Aniket bhai, as it is said, a leader who knows the way, who goes the way, and who shows the way. Sir, you are always our torchbearer, and you always shown us the way how we should act, how we should perform our duty. So thank you very much for giving your precious time, and we can understand how busy schedule is currently of yours, but you have spent some time for all of us. Pathak sir, no words, 2 words thank you is very small if I say, but from bottom of my heart and on behalf of Ahmedabad branch and all other branches of Gujarat and participants, I am thankful to you, sir. No words that you showered your knowledge, love, and respect on us. Keep showering those when we come for a coffee at your office. We expect biscuits also. So keep favoring that gesture to us. And all the 3 contributors of this publication, Manan bhai, thanks for coming on this panel discussion. Sarthak bhai Bhansali and Madhav bhai Birla in his absentia, even Nipun Sanghvi, who has also helped us whenever we want legal issues to be resolved. So thank you very much, friends. And lastly, thank you all the participants. We are going to have such type of deliberation, if Pathak sir permits, then on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis. Sir, we will invite you again and again, and thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Yes, I would like to add, friend. नहीं, कभी नहीं, इतना इस frequency से नहीं, बहुत तेल निकाल लिया आप लोगों ने. Now I will have to regenerate myself. But however, it has been an experience of a lifetime. पहले दिन के सेशन के बाद मुझे खुद को भी इस लैपटॉप के सामने बैठे बैठे बोलने की कभी आदत नहीं थी लाइफ में. इट वाज एन एक्सपीरियंस बिकॉज ऑफ ICAI अहमदाबाद. आई थैंक देम कि ये एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ अ लाइफ टाइम मुझे मिला. आई लर्न इन द प्रोसेस. आई थैंक ICAI Ahmedabad, all branches of ICAI in Gujarat. I know chairmen and secretaries and members of those branches and office bearers have had also joined the webinar on different occasions as time would have permitted them. I thank all of you, all professionals who have spared their time to listen to me, to share with me their understanding. Special thanks to Aniket Bhai, Bishan Bhai and Fanil Ji. आपका मोटो है ये सुप्तेषु जागृति. आपने वही किया जब सबके पास वैकेशन का टाइम था. आपने उसको आप लोग कर रहे हो, not just for RERA, for GST, for income tax, for other things. I have been listening to announcements of various webinars during last 5 days. So it is very encouraging that professionals of Gujarat are very positive in keeping themselves updated, engaged, and equipped to serve the nation and society at large. Thank you very much, friends. It has been a pleasure deliberating with you people for these 5 sessions, and I request Secretary Ji, अगर हो सके तो ये वीडियोस हमें शेयर करना किसी प्लेटफॉर्म से, सो हमारे लिए भी ये यादगार रहेगा और सबके लिए भी यूजफुल रहेगा. सो अगेन आई थैंक CCM Aniket Ji, Fanil Ji, President,
Thank you.
Secretary Bishan Ji, and all friends who have joined these webinars. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, and special thanks to the branch and all participants. Thank you very much, sir.
With this, but it's a beginning, so let's start thinking, and we are definitely coming with ebook on this. So once again, friends, thank you very much. We are closing this webinar here.